the tagline's just Jesus.
Irreconcilable differences, a mysterious captor, an unexpected outcome. Welcome to I Hope You Suffer. Also,
Awful.
Jesus.
Dog shit.
This is not the worst movie we've done, but it's close.
It's,
Badge Bible and
it's
fucking
in
Bigfoot
there.
was worse, but I feel like this at least had Roddy Piper in it. That puts it like just a hair above fucking Badge Bible Bigfoot.
Was that the, like, reporter's boss?
Yeah.
Okay. I did not care for him at all. I thought he was really creepy and scary, and I didn't like the way he talked.
Alright, that first, we're diving in. That first scene that he's in did, like, it make zero sense. Like, everything he said didn't make zero sense to anyone else.
No.
Like, he was just saying random shit. And she's like,
So,
huh, okay.
my favorite part about that scene is that, like, he's, like, saying whatever fucking crazy shit he's saying, and then she goes, so what do you want me to write about? And he goes, what I just said. And I was like, girl, you didn't say anything. Are you kidding me?
Didn't say a goddamn thing.
I love that he's in this movie and interacts with literally one of the actors. The only one actor in the entire movie had any scenes with him.
And
He was there for an afternoon.
Conversations are nonsensical. Like, it's like he's not even talking to her.
No, that's how newspaper.
They're just like, say something to her.
Talk.
I guess so.
It's just like everything that comes into his brain, he speaks aloud, but it just is at someone.
Yes.
He might as well just be J. Jonah Jameson.
Well, pictures of Jesus.
I need more pictures of Jesus. Give me those pictures.
That. He's a menace to society.
This is episode 237, blah, blah, blah. We're talking about 2015's The Reconciler, a.k.a.
Dog shit.
The Christian Saw. Just the fucking...
Saws out for Jesus.
Man, this was fucking brutal, but had a incredible M. Night Shyamalan twist ending.
Amazing.
Specifically if you've never seen Saw before.
I also definitely forgot that you said that this was like a Christian version of Saw, and so like you already know what's gonna happen in the very opening scene, and I was like, kind of like Saw, and then I was like, the more it kept going, I was like, wait, this is Saw. I just like forgot you said that.
It's like Saw if there wasn't a drop of blood in the entire thing.
There's no violence at all.
I wanted at least one person to have to like cut their hand off or something.
No.
Like a death trap. So the closest I think we got was that guy almost falls off a cliff.
Yeah, handcuffs. There was handcuffs.
Don't know if I've laughed harder at something in a movie than when the voice of God is coming through that speaker or fucking whatever's happening, and they go to like move boxes and every single box they touch is empty. Like they just start shuffling around all these boxes to find this speaker, and it's so obvious that it's just a bunch of fucking empty boxes taped shut.
The one that really got me... Oh, go ahead, Katie.
Oh, I was just going to say there's also a scene where the reporter is talking to a guy who is like working at a soup kitchen, and they like linger on him ladling soup too long, and it's literally just water. I was like,
I think I zoned out. I remember her like going to talk to somebody in a soup kitchen, but I was just like, I can't pay attention to this right now.
My favorite thing is definitely the twist, which maybe I assume Kit might be saying.
No, it was... I mean, it's right after that, and whenever the detective guy, like, finds the brothers in the basement, and they're like, oh, we were captured by the Reconciler, and he goes, twins? And they're like, yeah.
He I love how obsessed with twins he is, because there's like a scene where like their mom calls to report they're missing, and he, first of all, typical cop, is like, you can't report anyone missing for 24 hours. And then she's like, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, twins? I'm on the case. I was like, what?
I was baffled
His
throughout
first time seeing twins.
so much of this movie as to how any of these storylines were going to connect. And when you get the reveal that she's the fucking wife of this one guy, that like the guy and son that are fucking having to be reconciled, I was like, Jesus Christ, I hate this.
No pun intended.
Pun intended.
I also don't understand. Let's just like dive into this, because I don't understand.
Oh, you don't want to talk about? You don't want to get everybody's original or first thoughts. See if anybody liked it first.
I think I have in good faith that nobody liked it.
I just want to say, I'm just glad there is not a single rating above a 3.5. Nobody has rated this above a 3.5 on Letterboxd. It's all zeros for 4, 4.5, and 5 stars.
Even people who love Jesus were like, oh, I don't know about this one.
There's only one rating above a 2-star, and it's a 3.5.
Did they leave a review?
I don't know. I was just looking.
Or you don't know? Yeah, we don't know. Yeah, like, so I want to start out by saying,
I love this.
If for somehow you have never guessed this by anything else we've ever talked about, I am not a religious person by any means. I have absolutely no problem. I know. Sorry. I have no problem with people who are. I have a lot of close friends who, not a lot of close friends, but I know a few people who listen to the show too, that have some kind of belief or whatever. And so by no means is anything that I'm going to say meant to be offensive towards anybody, but we are going to, this movie is ridiculous. So we're going to make fun of it.
It's definitely the most overtly like religious, like even the badge.
It's a sermon.
Like
it's an hour and a half long sermon,
basically.
And Roddy Piper shows up.
The badge of the Bible and Bigfoot was definitely super religious, but there was like a plot to it that like wasn't about Jesus.
Yes.
And then like
there's nothing not Jesus in this.
And the like at least the lock-in was like an attempt at being an actual horror movie. This was just literally this was like Bible Man might as well, or like Veggie Tales might as well have just showed up in this fucking movie. How religious it was.
Yeah. Yes.
I was at least hoping there would be some sort of like horror aspect to it by how much I kept seeing like, you know, Tread Central or fucking whatever being like, oh, the Christian Saw, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna look into it, I'm just gonna pick it, we'll watch it, and then it just started, and I was like, nothing other than talk about Jesus is happening in this.
Yeah, and like
pretty scary,
even the
to
people,
be fair.
even the people in this movie who are like not religious are religious. You'll see what I mean? So it's like, this is not even, well, okay, let's just get into it. You'll see. So
Katie's itching to talk about this film. She enjoyed it so much.
We got to get to the end.
There's literally one scene, and I snapped it to Nathan, that I literally choked because it took me by surprise in a way that, like, because I started laughing, it was terrible. So, okay, so this is like, it literally starts with somebody writing a letter via calligraphy and filling it with a wax stamp by candlelight. So we're already
amazing. Solid start.
You know how Jigsaw sends those letters out.
Yeah,
with
right.
his like feathered quill, like
literally beautiful penmanship.
Dear victim.
I don't want you to be offended because I like you very much. However, I have kidnapped you. So like literally, so then it like cuts to people being passed out in a warehouse, and I was like Saw, LOL, and then I was like, oh wait, it literally is like Saw. A young guy wakes up and tries to open an alarm. Like, they're in a warehouse. He's in a warehouse, right? And he's trying to bust through the door that's like steel or whatever. And then he rummages around for a while and can't figure it out. He can't get service on his phone either. Then there's another guy who is laying on the ground, and this kid, his name ends up being James, but he pretends his name is Smitty.
Smitty.
And I was like,
so weird.
What the fuck?
We love Smitty. We stand a Smit. Big Smit.
Because he's like 20, and he's like, oh, my name's Smitty. And I was like, what the fuck? So he wakes up this guy who is laying on the ground, who says his name is Ed. He wakes him up by poking him with a cane, and then it's just like, who are you? What are you doing here? And Ed's literally like, could I please have my cane? I need it to walk. And he was like, okay, here you go. So Ed seems to be some kind of lock expert, because he looks at the alarm system on the door and is basically just like, by my calculations, there could be millions of combinations to this door. Also,
he's just a math nerd.
Literally. Smitty is like, let's just call him Smitty. I like that better than James.
Same.
Smitty is just like, oh, I think whoever wants us to be here wants us to be here for a long time. And Ed's like, what do you mean? And then Smitty's like, look, and the bathroom is literally like stocked with toilet paper and cleaning supplies. And I was like, well, that was thoughtful.
It's very nice.
You think Jigsaw did that? Like, do you think there was toilet paper
Yeah.
anywhere in that bathroom in the first Saw movie?
No.
I hadn't considered it. I have a newfound respect for Jigsaw, because he laid there that whole time. Like, within an hour, I would have had to pee.
Yeah, or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
you just pee yourself, like, and hope no one notices.
Yeah.
He seems like
I
he
think
would
so.
like he was like, well enough thinking well enough in advance that he probably just didn't drink anything for like 24 hours.
Or, yeah, I mean, from the looks of that bathroom, it looked pretty crusty. So I think it probably already smelled. If he
telling you right
wanted
now,
to,
if Saw 10 or whatever the fuck is about to come out doesn't end with the same twist that this movie has, I'm gonna be so mad.
I can't. I
Jigsaw's
would watch
just
it,
back.
100%.
Fuck, at the end of this movie, you find out Ed's God. That's the twist reveal. If Jigsaw does not
He's
come
not
back,
God.
he's God.
He's an angel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of his angels.
God is an angel.
God is the angel.
Yeah, see? God is
King
No,
Angel.
God is in all of us, so all of us are God.
King angel. There. Well,
I think.
there.
I don't know.
So
I just want Jigsaw. I
okay.
want Tobin Bell to just reveal himself to be an angel and it's just alive again. I hope
I
that's
would
how the
love
next
that.
movie starts.
So Ed is a lock expert, and the bathroom has toilet paper. That's where we are. Ed also is like an architect, I guess, because he's like looking around and he's like, looks like there was a window there that they sealed up, and Smitty is gonna climb up there and check it out. And Ed is like, well, be careful. We don't want you to break your leg. How considerate.
Okay.
Smitty, like, climbs up there and then falls and hurts himself, but then he climbs up there again and is like, I can't get out. Whatever.
I
So now we
I
need
hate
Lori.
the name. I hate the name Smitty because I just think of SpongeBob. Smitty Werben
Yeah,
Jagerman
that's fair.
Jensen.
I just like that, like,
He was number one.
he's climbing on top of this thing that he has a pallet on
Like
top
a pallet.
and like
Yeah.
falls off and goes to do it again, and like Ed is like, I'm not gonna hold it stable for you, just be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just be careful. So we meet Lori, who is a news reporter, and she is like writing an article about like a baby animal being born or some shit. And then this is when we meet her boss, who is whatever that guy's name is.
Rowdy Piper.
I don't know what is going on with this guy, but everything out of his mouth is like gobbledygook. He is talking about like, I just wrote like boss talks to her and is kind of weird. He offers her the chance to do a real story. She makes a joke about covering the local fashion show twice in this conversation. Because I think maybe she forgot she already made the joke. I don't know. But he's like, how would you like to do a real story? And she's like, yeah, I'm interested. So then he starts talking about how he is seeing the advancement of civilization because he sees battery-powered cars and equal rights for a lot of people, is what he says.
I was cackling immediately. Said equal rights for a lot of people. Roddy, what are you saying? Where's this going?
About?
What? Right.
Should I be very concerned about where this is about to go?
I love that this is his last movie. What a way to go out.
Insane.
How do you go from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia to this?
Could have gone out on top.
Yep.
The Maniac.
Could have just been the Maniac and the dude from They Live, and now you're just fucking a newspaper editor.
Oh, you got kids, Maniac? No, not anymore. What?
So then, he's talking about equal rights for a lot of people. I beg to differ, but go off. He also was like delivering his lines in like a really weird way. He's like, equal rights for a lot of, I don't know, I can't do it. It's like fucking weird. And then he starts talking about how God isn't dead, even though people think he is or something. And he's talking about how everything in the world has turned gray or something. And this is when she's like, okay, so what do you want me to write about? And then he just says what I just said. And she goes, okay, great, I'm on it. And he's like, Monday morning, I want it on my desk. Get out of here, kid. And she's like, okay. And she leaves. And I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
What is happening?
Made sense to me. I was having a stroke while I was watching it, but it made sense to me.
That I think he might have been. So someone
in the depths of like Dayquil delirium.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah. So back at the warehouse, Ed and Smitty trying to figure out how and where they got there and like how they maybe know each other and like what the last things they remember are and stuff. And Ed says that he is a reporter. Smitty is a graphic designer, and they're trying to figure out like how they're related, whatever. Then we see a water fountain that is across, and it is because Lori is going to a church to talk to a priest about the quote-unquote graying of America. And he basically is talking about how that's what happens when you take God out of the equation. And he just like talks about this for a while. And he's like, you should interview other people who aren't priests or something. And she's like, okay, I'll do that. So this is when she goes to the soup kitchen and interviews a worker there who is talking. She's basically like, what do you think about the kids not being able to pray in school? And he's like, kids pray all the time. And she's like, that's not what I mean. What do you mean? What do you think about how kids aren't allowed to pray in school or some shit? And he's basically just talking about how he came from a place where it was like illegal to pray and believe in God and stuff, and all of this, something about a river flowing and whatnot. I was like, what?
She's like, is that where you think things are going here? I wanted to die. I wanted to die so hard.
So then, like, and I love how whenever she's interviewing, this isn't even the best interview, but she's always, like, in the middle of them talking, and then she's just like, thanks for your time, see ya, and she just, like, abruptly leaves. And this is when he turns and spoons water into a bowl. So I don't know if I trust anything he's saying. He's working at a soup kitchen.
I just want it to be known that 4 years before this movie came out, the guy that directed it was a producer on the movie Stripperland.
He saw the light, okay?
Yeah, apparently.
Perfect. Oh my god. Too many boobies will do that to you,
Also,
I guess.
whatever the movie I Am Virgin is about with Ron Jeremy. So,
Oh
Mm,
I
no.
feel like this might be a grift.
mhm.
I'm just gonna say it is.
Depends. I feel like that. I feel like I Am Virgin could go one or two ways. So
Well, it's
who
got
knows?
Ron Jeremy in it. I think it's going one
Yeah.
way.
So meanwhile, Smitty has found a key in his pocket that is tied to a ribbon, and they're just like, "What is this for?" And it's literally to open a trunk that they've been sitting on. And you guys are not ready for this twist. Inside the trunk is a person wrapped in a blanket, and it's Smitty's twin brother, Alex.
It's like,
Twins?
is that what I think it is?
It's twins. Alex wakes up and is freaking out. Then
Apparently, the smelling
he's
salt
like-
scene, like when he wakes up, was real. They used real smelling salts, and he freaked out.
The fuck?
okay.
Why is that the one
Nobody
thing that
told
they
him
would
not.
do legitimately?
Well, they got a real angel to be
Wow. Yeah. Ed the Angel.
in it.
Old Ed.
Classic
He wakes-
angel named Ed.
Yeah. Divine. He like wakes up and is like freaking out or whatever. James Smitty is like, "Well, it's my brother. It's my brother," or whatever. Then Ed is like, "Now wait a minute here. That's your brother? How's your relationship? I'm guessing you guys are estranged." And they're like, "What? How did you know?" And Ed reveals that he has been writing about this person called the Reconciler, whose MO is that he kidnaps family members and locks them in a situation together so they can talk to each other.
Sounds hellish, to be honest.
I would
I'd rather go through a saw
What?
I was
trap.
gonna say the exact same thing.
Give me the mouth vice.
Put me in
okay?
that
I don't want
weird-
to talk to anybody.
Put me in that fucking one that just covered, like, drowned you liquefied pigs. I'll take that.
Push me
Right.
into the syringe pit. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm not talking to
I will
anybody.
talk to somebody over that syringe pit. That's the worst goddamn thing on earth.
Oh gosh. So yeah, so like his MO is that he kidnaps estranged family members and locks them in a room together until they talk, which wow. Then we get our first flashback, which is of two detectives who I can't remember if they said that they were related. No, they're not related in any way. They were the only people who weren't. But they wake up and they are trapped inside a car together. They immediately start arguing because the lady cop thinks that the male cop is pranking her or whatever.
This shit was baffling
Then
to
they
me.
find, yeah, I don't fucking know. They have a recorder where the Reconciler says that they need to talk it out because they need to work together because when they do, they make the city a better place. And by them arguing all the time, crime's not being stopped and whatnot. So really high stakes here
The fuck?
for the city that they live in. Then Ed reveals that the reason he's there is because he was the one who gave the Reconciler his name and called him a crazed kidnapper. And so now the Reconciler wants him to witness that the reconciling works, essentially. Then Ed is basically just like, "Oh, I don't know, it's kind of an urban legend." But then they start talking about this rich guy who tried to get his son to come on a vacation with him, and the son was like, "No, I don't want to." And then their plane crashes, and the whole family ends up dying. And so people think that the son is the Reconciler. Okay.
Sure.
Boy.
mm,
I was baffled by, like, these three storylines happening at once, because don't, like, Ed starts telling them as if they happened in the past, but then they're just,
Yeah.
like, happening in real time, I guess. Like, I did not understand what the fuck was going on in the
They
timeline of this
Yeah.
movie.
Not very
so
clear.
okay. So no. Well, also why? Then Ed is like, yeah, he usually leaves a note or something, and so Smitty
It's very subtle, Ed. Thank you.
find some notes in the trunk.
He usually
and
leaves the note
notes,
like right exactly here.
yeah, and then there's 3 of them. And so the note essentially says, like, you need to work your shit out. Like, essentially. My favorite thing also about this movie is that even though everybody hates each other and is, like, arguing, there are the most, like, complimentary arguments ever. It's like, you think about everyone ahead of yourself and you're super awesome, but I fucking hate you. Like, that's essentially how all their arguing is. And I'm like, that's not really accurate, but whatever. And the note is essentially just like, Alex's problem is that he was essentially like nagging his brother and pushed him away or whatever. And then Smitty's problem is that he took his brother for granted or some shit. I don't know. It's very convoluted. And now Ed is like, oh, this reminds me of another Reconciler story, which is about a father who is a soldier and a son who wake up in the woods, handcuffed together. Sounds terrible. I don't like any of those situations, to be honest with you.
This is like the most Saw trap you get, is that 2 people are handcuffed together.
In the woods, yeah. And so, but also...
Hello?
Katie got reconciled.
Katie's good. Is there an angel in the garage with you, Katie?
How's Ed?
Can you hear me?
Ed took her
There
away.
we go. Hello?
Hi.
What happened? Did you get reconciled?
I didn't do anything. I was talking that whole time.
No, you weren't.
I mean, I was. You couldn't hear me. I don't know. Maybe my headphones are starting to go.
Well,
Ed interfered.
yeah.
Oh, well. Ed's like, stop talking shit about my trap, okay? Okay, so yeah, they're chained together outside. The dad finds a note that basically says the keys are up the mountain or whatever, and like won't tell the son what the letter says or whatever. And then the son just keeps making a bunch of like comments like, you only care about the army and not being a dad and whatever. And then the dad's like, fuck you, I'm in the army. You know, like, it's just like, whatever. But like, this one to me doesn't make a lot of sense because they could just walk up the mountain together and like not talk at all. And they could still get the keys, but it's fine. The dad also tries to, oh my God, this is my favorite line. The dad tries to like bust the chains, like smash the chains open with a rock, and the kid is like, anything to get out of spending time with me, huh, Dad? And then he's like, I'm a soldier in the United States Army. I'm not marching to the tune of anyone. And I was like, but aren't you marching to the tune of the United States Army? Like, isn't that what the army's about? I could be wrong. I don't know.
You're wrong.
So, okay. Thank you. Smitty and Alex are arguing about stuff, you know.
Who fucking knows?
Oh, basically Alex is like, well, why don't we just pretend that we got along and then we'll just tell him that. And then Ed is like, oh, well, you can't do that because he's listening. He's monitoring you as we speak. And then Ed tries to like ask why they're fighting, and they're basically just like, none of your business, loser. This is when Alex and Smitty's mom reports them missing, and the detective is like, twins? I'm on the case. So Lori now, oh my God, this is my favorite. This is my favorite scene. Well, this is my second favorite scene because Lori goes to talk to this
you have
family.
more than one. I don't like that you have one
Okay,
favorite scene in this.
because the scene that I snapped you is my favorite because it literally almost murdered me. It was so funny. This is my second favorite scene in its ridiculousness. So Lori goes to talk to a family, and the family is a part of Lori's mom's church, and so they know Lori's mom. And Lori's mom helped them when their daughter was sick or whatever. And so the daughter tells the story about how she died and went to heaven. And the reason that she was allowed to come back to Earth is because she was sent back to tell Lori that God wants her to come back to believing in him.
Sure.
Yeah,
What?
why not?
And so Lori is like fucked up over this, rightfully so. This like 7-year-old girl was just like, yeah, I went to I died. Jesus sent me back to tell you that you need to be believing in Jesus again. And so she's like fucked up. She goes back to complain to her boss about how like she can't do it and it's like too much or whatever. And he's just like, this is your fucking job. Go do your job. And she's like, okay, sounds great. I was like, what? So Alex, okay, so this is the beef with Alex and Smitty, okay? Alex is mad because Smitty stopped going to church with the family. Smitty is saying that he left because it was messed up that his parents forced them to go to church and didn't give them a choice. But even though he left physically going to church, he still believes in God and stuff. And Alex is like afraid. He's like, I just want to like praise the way I want to praise, you know? I don't want anyone to tell me how to do it. And then Alex is like, that's how cults get started. And I was like, okay, sure. Smitty is just like, let me believe in God my own way, man. And Alex is like, this is fucked up. They hear a noise, and this is when they find a speaker that like isn't plugged into anything. And like, I thought the subtitle said that it was making a demonic noise, but maybe it was supposed to be the voice of God.
No, I don't know what it was supposed to be. It's just like, it sounds like 5 voices happening at once. It makes no sense.
It's just like feedback. It's like, but like the cord is frayed, so it's not plugged into anything. And they're like, what? What's going on here?
It's so stupid.
Meanwhile, the cop that's into twins calls the lady cop who was abducted by the Reconciler before and asks her for an address to a warehouse. And like, I have no idea how this is supposed to be. Like, this address ends up leading the cop to the warehouse where the boys are kidnapped or whatever, but like, I have no idea why the lady cop would know the address or like how this is tied to each other at all. But that's what happens. So now Alex and Smitty are talking more, and like the big thing that basically ripped apart their relationship is that Alex told him, if you're turning your back on this, as in going to church, then I can't believe that you're my brother. That was like the big thing that he said that like broke their relationship. What a horrible thing. And I was like, huh? That's very benign if you ask me, but whatever. And then Alex gets mad and goes to take a shit. Now they're playing some music over like a compilation of all of the people that have been kidnapped just like sitting there not talking to each other for a while. And Alex looks really forlorn and is crying in the bathroom. Now we're back to the cops that were kidnapped, and they're arguing. And like, the thing that happened with them is that the lady cop put in for a transfer, and he's mad at her about it. And the reason she put in for a transfer is because he got a promotion that she thinks she deserved. And then this is when they compliment each other, because she's like, you're awesome, you're the best cop ever, but I don't think you should have got that promotion because I've worked for the force 3 years longer than you. And then I don't know. Basically, they work it out.
Yeah, it's very stupid and pointless. I don't understand what this storyline had to do with anything in this movie.
I have no idea. So I think what happens is Smitty's like, so what happened with the other people or whatever, because Ed didn't finish telling the story.
I just think somebody was like, what if we did a salt? Like, we need another trap. What if we just had people locked in a car?
Well, that's what they
It's
did.
like the most boring fucking trap on earth.
Not the car.
Also, yeah. I don't know also why she didn't just like bust the window with her gun. She didn't have bullets, but she could have just hit it. Or something. So back to the soldier and the son. Basically, he's like, the dad fought for his country, but he didn't fight for his family. And they're like arguing, and then
got his ass.
The kid
got fucking pwned by his own son.
Slips and like almost falls off a cliff, but they're handcuffed together, so the dad pulls him up. And he's like, oh, my son, I got you. I thought I lost you. And then the son just like passes out, and the dad has to carry him up the rest of the hill. And then he finds the backpack and with the keys in it and gives him some water, and his son like immediately wakes up and he's fine. And they like laugh or whatever. And I was like, what? I mean, it's a pretty good ploy if you're like, oh, I'm fucking tired. I don't want to walk up this mountain. I was being my beef ass dad.
Yeah, like carry me up this fucking mountain.
Yeah. So now Lori goes to visit this lady who has a bitchin' yard, and Lori asks like why she thinks they call her generation the quote unquote greatest generation. And to that I say, who?
Okay, so
who's calling them that?
I had a problem with this because isn't the greatest generation the generation that fought in World War II, not the kids of the people that fought in World War II?
Yes.
Yeah, so that made no
according
sense.
To this lady.
Ed is bad at stories.
Yeah.
God damn it,
well,
Ed.
He's also talking to some like Generation Z or whatever, so it's fine. They don't know. They don't even know what the World War is.
Fair.
Anyways, she's like, yeah, why do you think makes your generation the greatest generation? And she talks about the war, being in wartime, and how people were into God a lot, and then people were not into God as much. And then her husband died, and she decided that she wanted to be close to God again. And then she shows Lori a news article about herself where she has given away $35 million to be closer to God and share her wealth with people or something.
Dumb.
So that's the thing. This is when Lori goes home, and we find out that Lori's family is the soldier and the son who were abducted before. And I was like, why?
It makes no sense.
But because also, like, why wouldn't she? I don't know. Because like the Reconciler story and this shit happening with Lori, that rhymes, is completely separate. Like, she doesn't ever acknowledge or talk about the Reconciler. So like, why or what? I don't know.
I don't understand any of it. Like, I don't understand how he's telling this story that's happening concurrently to their story, apparently.
Well, they're flashbacks. He's like, in the beginning, he was like, didn't you hear about the cops didn't you hear about the son and the soldier and the son or whatever? So like, he does talk about it in the past tense, but it's still very stupid because it doesn't.
All right, never mind.
I don't know, whatever. So Lori
come around on it.
Yeah.
Her husband and son are like palling around in the entryway, and she's just like, I know what you two are doing. And then he goes, can a father and son have some fun? And I was like, ew.
Whoa.
I don't like that.
Maybe took a turn.
Yeah, and then they're like, you know, palling around or whatever, and he's like, I was about to go take our son out to eat. Do you want to come? And she's like, no, you go have fun, but don't have the cops called on you or some stupid shit. And so they leave. Lori makes herself a cheese plate.
My boss that doesn't make any sense is making me write an article for some reason. I got work to do.
Yeah, see ya. Also, she just found out that a little girl returned from the dead to tell her that she should believe in Jesus. So, you know, she's had a long day.
I fucking forgot about that, too.
So she makes herself a cheese plate, and then she picks up a Bible that her mother had given her. And there's a voiceover of her mom basically telling her that she should return to Jesus and recognize that there have been miracles in her life, like her husband giving a shit about his family, essentially, and that miracle should make her like believe in Jesus and have faith and stuff. And she starts crying.
Stupid.
Ed,
What a tale! How incredible!
Yeah.
Moving cinema.
Ed finishes telling Smitty about the two different pairs of people who were abducted or whatever. And Smitty says that he doesn't agree with the Reconciler's methods, even though they seem to work. This is when Alex comes out of the bathroom and says that he was wrong. And then Smitty says that he was wrong too. And then they forgive each other and they hug. Then Ed puts down his cane in a stunning twist. He can walk.
Oh, shit.
And it's like, my name isn't Ed. And Joe isn't the Reconciler. And then Ed somehow undoes the locks to the room via miracle. And reveals the best reveal ever, which is that they're like, how did you do that? I thought you said the door was locked. How did you unlock it? And he goes, the same way that I did this. And then it shows the two cops being locked in the car, and Ed is standing outside, and he does like some twinkle fingers, and the car unlocks. And then my favorite scene, it shows when the kid is falling down the cliff and the dad is trying to pull him up. Joe, his name's not Joe, his name's Ed, appears behind him smirking and does like twinkle fingers, and then gives the dad the strength to pull his son up a cliff, even though his son weighs like 50 pounds and he's like fucking jacked. Ed performed his miracle. But just the way that they show him like standing behind the dad made me like fucking choke. It was so funny.
I thought it was funnier that he's just standing there and he just literally just like wiggles his fingers and the car locks unlock.
The sound effect whenever Fred Flintstone's like on his tiptoes.
Right.
Bowling or whatever. And like essentially. Actually, he kind of looks like Fred Flintstone, if you ask me.
Yeah, he kind of does.
So it turns out, and then he's just like, as for the Reconciler, I'm not him. I work for him. And then he disappears in a blink of light. And the two bros hug, and they're like, whoa, wow, man, that was crazy. Wow, awesome. And they're like, they just
high-fiving, doing cartwheels.
Yeah, literally, yeah. This is also my favorite part of the movie, because I feel like the cops are really accurately represented in this movie, because he shows up and finds the brothers, and he's like, freeze, and they're like, oh man, no, don't shoot, it's us, and then he sees them, and he's like, twins? And they're like, yeah, it's us. And then he's like interrogating them. Like, what are you doing here? How'd you get here? Who did this to you? And they're just like, oh, the guy's gone. He disappeared. He was an angel. And the cop is like, what are you talking about? And they're like, why don't we go downtown and we can tell you all about it? And he's just like, sounds good. And then they walk out of the building. And it's the end.
He immediately changes his tone. Like, you know, he's like, who are you? Why are you here? What's going on? And they're like, well, we've got quite the story to tell you. And he's like, oh, I bet. And they just kind of like happily jog out of the building.
Like, literally. What is going on here? What was this movie?
What a tale.
Watching this in 2 settings was a mistake. I think I got halfway through and I was like, I'm saving this for tomorrow. I should have just burned through it because it made it seem so much longer.
I watched like all but half an hour last night, and then I had to watch the last half an hour this morning at like 8 a.m. and I was like,
fuck.
Oh, what am I doing with my
way to
life?
wake up.
I know. So yeah, all that to explain that this is by no means like the only Saw-esque thing that happened is that people were kidnapped.
People were locked in a room
against their will, literally. So, also, like, to me, the lowest stakes of any, like, they're kidnapped to talk in a room. Like, that's it.
Again, pretty bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I at least get paid to be locked in a room with people I have to talk to, so.
Right?
Any news? Katie, did you look anything up?
I didn't really see anything.
Ruggero Deodato died. I know that happened.
R.I.P.
Yeah, that was a bummer.
They're always like, any news? Such and such died. Oh, jeez.
That's usually the only news I ever see.
Every week.
I tend to just flat out ignore any, like, actual movie news, usually. Let's see if any of this looks good. The Exorcist Blumhouse bullshit got halted due to a health scare of somebody on set. Hopefully that never comes back.
Yeah. Don't love a health scare, but do love to cancel that.
Tomorrow, as of when we're recording this, the Evil Dead Rise trailer will be out.
I'm cautiously optimistic.
Yeah,
I like the poster.
I've yet to be let down by any of the Evil Dead stuff, so I'm optimistic, but you know, it's also 2023 and the little teaser thing that released today, the effects didn't necessarily look super great, but I'm in either way. I'll see it. All right. Katie, what'd you watch since the last time we recorded?
Oh man, nothing.
Gundam Wing.
Yes, I watched all of Gundam Wing again, and then I watched some Batman stuff for a bonus episode, and like, that's essentially it.
All right, Kit, what'd you watch? What did you watch? That good?
Let's see, Burning Paradise.
Hell yeah.
Fucking rips. Wuxia movies. They rock. Who knew? The Brain also rocks.
I haven't seen that in a while.
This is much better than I remember. Plaga Zombie Zona Mutante.
Oh.
I liked it. I liked it better than the first, but like all the action rules and then everything happening between the action. It's like, shut up and start murdering zombies again. And then I watched Acción Mutante, Vada Mutante, which it is not a film that's in very good taste.
Yeah, I can tell
rules.
by the cover. The Severin cover.
Yes, but it rules, and I really enjoyed it. Recommended if you like movies that are in bad taste and would not be made today. And then I watched The Long Good Friday this morning before watching The Reconciler, so at least I watched one good movie today. The first movie I've ever seen where Bob Hoskins is not doing an American accent. Very weird.
Oh.
Yeah, they let him be a London guy.
Weird.
Good for him.
I don't know if I've ever heard him not
Perfect.
have like.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I haven't really seen him in a whole lot of stuff. Like I think it's Super Mario Bros. And mermaids and
Roger Rabbit.
Who
Yeah.
Framed Roger Rabbit, and that's about it. But he's like a New York guy in all of those, which he pulls off.
I
But
desperately want to see like the alternate universe where he was Wolverine in the X-Men movie.
oh my God, yes, he'd be perfect.
Let's see. I watched the entire Argento filmography, including, oh man, Phantom of the Opera, which was fucking just garbage. I watched like the handful of movies of his from his later era that I had not seen, like that and The Card Player and Do You Like Hitchcock and Giallo, and they're all
How was the Card Player?
It's fine. It's like it's good for that era Argento, but it's not good overall.
Sure.
I like if you could watch it for free, I'd say give it a watch, but I would not spend money on it.
It had my curiosity whenever I went and saw Goblin doing the live score for Suspiria, and they played like other stuff afterwards. I was like, this track jams. What the hell is this? And it's footage of the movie in the background. It's like, oh, the Card Player. All right, maybe I'll watch that.
I mean, yeah, I would say like if you could watch for free, why not? But I watched Civil War Saint. It was hot garbage.
Oh God.
I was like, I'm gonna sit in here and just watch all their movies tonight. I got through that and I was like, I'm good.
I'm so upset I even know what that is.
It's fucking terrible. It's somehow worse than Bible Badge and Bigfoot. The dog's a pretty good actor though. And then I watched a couple SOV movies that I don't remember anything about. The fuck was Brain Blast? Oh,
I'm in.
yeah, it's like a weird Australian like drug punk movie. I guess it was okay. I gave it 2.5 stars. I don't really remember much about it.
The description sounds way better than that rating.
It's just like kind of all over the place. Like I remember, like from what I could remember of it, it was very hard to keep track of what was happening. I watched The Brain Sucker. Another one I don't remember. This was also like 2 weeks ago. A psycho killer uses a corkscrew to stick into the brains of his victims. Sounds pretty good,
Hell
but I
yeah.
only gave it 1 star, so. Cards of Death. The fuck was this? Centers around a cop and 2 brothers hot on the trail of a murderous card game in which masked participants must murder the loser or be killed themselves. Well, apparently I watched that. Then I watched Fatal Images, which I do remember, and was pretty good. The serial killer kills himself and manages to get his soul stuck in a camera, and then kills people when people use that camera.
Great.
Good plot. Watched a bunch of Astron 6 shorts. I watched Glass Onion, even though I've not seen Knives Out.
We did start watching that, but I didn't finish it.
Caitlin was watching it while I was sick, and I came out as they were starting it. They had just watched Knives Out, and they were starting that, and I was like, whatever, I'll just watch this. It's pretty good. It made me want to watch Knives Out.
Yeah.
But,
Knives Out is, I thought, very good, but I didn't watch enough of Glass Onion or whatever to have an opinion.
I haven't heard anyone say anything bad about Knives Out, but it just was not like a priority for me. But Glass Onion was really
It's
good.
good.
Yeah.
I think you'd like
I'm sure,
the first one if you like Glass Onion.
I watched Training Day for the first time.
Oh fuck
That
yeah.
movie is fucking wild.
So good.
I feel like I could deal without Ethan Hawke in it. Like I feel like there's probably a better actor for that role, but Denzel Washington is just fucking out of control in that movie.
Next level. Next level.
I bought Blood on Milius Moon from Severin. It's a Luigi Cozzi movie from 2016 that is wild. It's almost 2 hours, and like it's like the first movie he had made in, I don't know, since like '94 or some shit. And it's got some of the worst CGI I've ever seen.
Hell yeah.
It's I honestly I couldn't even rate it because I couldn't tell you what the fuck it was actually about. It's insane. It's one of the weirdest things I've ever watched. And I mostly only bought it because it came with like a second disc that had this documentary on Luigi Cozzi I'd been trying to see for a while. And so I watched that, Fantastic Cozzi, and its documentary is pretty good. I watched Heartland of Darkness, aka Bloodchurch, which is fine. It's kind of middle of the road for what Visual Vengeance has been releasing, but didn't hate it, didn't love it. Was not
Just
near.
need.
What was that?
I was gonna say just need them to make it to Replicator.
Yeah, it's like it's like it's not nearly as bad as like Blood of the Chupacabra, but it's just kind of
Fucking hell.
just a little bit of boring. I watched Burning Paradise today, and it fucking rocks.
Yeah.
That whole like everything once they get into the prison, that movie's so good.
The dude just pulling that guy's head off, like he just grabs his hair, and just like, God.
It rocks. And then I watched
What a film.
Evil Laugh, which is one of the something Vinegar Syndrome put out that I'd never heard of, and it's fun. It's like a slasher, but like horror comedy kind of slasher. It's okay. I think that's it. Pretty much just watched a shit ton of Bob's Burgers. I think I'm on like season 9 right now, and that's in like a week. Just laying on the couch watching Bob's Burgers, being sick.
The dream.
Yeah. Well, minus the being sick part. All right. Shout outs, Katie.
I've been eating a lot of Taco Bell, so Taco Bell.
Yeah.
Taco Bell rocks every once in a while. I could not eat it all the time.
It's just like what we have close to us, and since we've like the place that we're moving is like a half an hour drive each way, and so it's just been like what we've had.
Yeah.
It's been saving us.
It's like once every 2 months, like Caitlin and I will just be like, let's get Taco Bell, and it'll be like a fucking $50 order. We get so much fucking food.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm like, I want like 4 of these, and 2 of these, and then 3 of these, and we gotta get a huge Mountain Dew with it, and all. I'm like, it shows up, and I'm just like, God damn it, it's too much food.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Man, we got a pizza last night from this place here that does like this intense, like they do like regular pizza, but they have this like huge vegan pizza menu, and we got a grandma pie where the crust was garlic knots, and it was mac and cheese pizza with buffalo chicken, like seitan on it. It's so fucking good.
Insane. Yeah, I mean, truthfully, I'm not really like Taco Bell's not like my thing, but you know, sometimes it's just there for you.
Yeah, Taco Bell, sponsor us. Send us free
Yeah,
tacos.
I do. You know, I am an advocate of the
And
Baja
bells.
Blast, so
just
yes, I do like bells.
send me a lot of free hot sauce, please.
Yes, that too. I like the mild sauce though.
Oh man, they're hot. Their sauces are so good. I'll take mild or hot, either one. Kit, who you want to shout out?
So last night on Monday Night Raw, apparently Bianca Belair and Alexa Bliss just reenacted like
I saw
the
this fucking
entire fight
scary movie
from
or
Scary
whatever.
Movie 3, I think it was.
So weird.
Wow.
Between the girl and the lady from The Ring. I've been thinking about it all day, and I don't know why it's so funny to me.
It's so weird. Like it
It's just
it
what a strange pull.
has to be on purpose, right?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Go ahead and look that up on Twitter because the clips are so funny.
I'm gonna say go listen to the album "Good" by the Sawtooth Grin. I'm not even gonna tell you about it. Just go listen to it. 'Cause I don't feel like telling you about it. All right. Next week, I believe we're doing Scanner Cop 2 with Steven Kostanski, unless something falls through. But that's the plan.
Oh
I
yeah.
am very excited to talk about special effects in that movie with him, because the movie rocks. Katie's gonna watch it without seeing the first movie. I have no idea what's happening.
I can't
You
wait.
won't really know what's happening anyway.
Yeah,
So it's
I
fine.
don't remember if it really makes any difference. I just picked 2 because I think the special
Okay.
effects are like way better in 2. I think you can watch that for free on YouTube if people haven't seen it, but if not, actually I'm gonna assume the Vinegar Syndrome box set is out of print.
I don't know.
That box set's so good.
Yeah, it's incredible. The great blind buy.
Yeah, I had. Oh, it looks like you can buy them each separately, but the actual set is sold out.
No more.
Yeah, go buy it while it's on sale.
Proud of past me.
Even though this episode will be out after the sale. All right. If you would like to support us, you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/IHopeYouSufferPodcast. Katie and I just recorded an episode on The Dark Knight Returns, which you can listen to, and then we'll have an episode on Freddy Got Fingered sometime this month.
Yes. Yes.
That groan.
I forgot about that.
Katie's gonna be like, I'm moving, so you guys do
Sorry.
that.
Can't make it.
I pushed back my internet installation because I did not want to watch Freddy Got Fingered again.
So good. You're gonna love it. I think it's gonna work for you this time.
It's art.
Yeah,
I
it's gonna work for me.
You can buy merch at our store Frontier Shop. Leave us a rating on Spotify, a rating review on iTunes. Tell us if you've seen The Reconciler. Because I feel like...
Tell us if you reconciled.
Yeah, tell us if you would
recently.
rather be locked in a room and have to talk to somebody, or you would want to be in that trap.
Shoot yourself in the face with a saw blade.
You'd be in that trap where you have to cut out a fucking pound of flesh or fucking whatever it is. The lady cuts her whole fucking arm off. Well, a bunch of terrible movies. They rock. They're so
Yeah,
stupid.
and somehow like we keep doing parody movies of it, and I think that's enough.
No,
I think this is enough.
I can't believe there's got to be not many more. I would say maybe one more.
I didn't think there
Slaw.
was 2, and we've done 2, so
Slaw was so good.
Need a crossover.
no.
Reconciler and Slaw.
Yeah, I would watch that.
Reconciler.
Get Kevin Nash out of there. We'll get Jerry Lawler in there just to
Oh
for a
God.
weird rhyme.
Just kill him. Kill him for an hour and a half.
Just drown him in coleslaw. Just that's all you watch for an hour. He just yells puppies for some reason the whole time. God, what a fucking terrible time that was.
The worst.
You can follow us on Instagram at I Hope You Suffer Podcast. Follow Kid at Hidden Kidstery and Kitrification of Blood. Follow Katie at Werewolf Face, and you can join Katie's Patreon at patreon.com/werewolfface. You can listen to my other podcast, the 8K Movie Club. Go watch Scanner Cop 2. Watch first Scanner Cop. I'm assuming they're both on YouTube.
Yeah, probably.
They're both totally fun. Definitely way better than the actual regular Scanners sequels, I think. At least 3. 3 was fucking boring. I can't remember much about 2.
Thought 2 was fun. I don't remember shit about 3.
I don't... Who's... this? Is it... Who's this, like, the lead in 2? Is it,
I don't have any idea.
I know I watched them, but I can't remember fucking anything about them, and the only thing I remember about 3 is it was super boring. At least Scanner Cop's got, like, that... Or Scanner Cop 2's got that scene with all the small heads coming out of dude's head.
Yeah.
Fucking rules. All right. Don't watch The Reconciler. It's fucking garbage.
Real bad.
Pretty much if we ever cover a movie that we're like, it's the Christian blank, don't fucking watch it.
Good
Although,
rule of
Yeah.
thumb.
I know somebody on here is gonna be like, I'm gonna watch it anyway, and then they're gonna be fucking yell at me. And
Shane.
no, well, Shane will
I
watch
was
it,
gonna say
but
Shane.
every once in a while, we always have the movies where I'm like, don't watch this, it's terrible, and someone will just 2 weeks later be yelling at me in fucking DMs on Instagram because they watched it, and I'm like, I told you not to. Just
You can't blame me for this.
Yeah.
This is
I'm
like
not legally
literally
liable.
not worth your
Just
time.
cancel.
In a like it's not funny. There's nothing good about
just
it.
skip to the
Just
last
don't.
15 minutes where you can see the dude wiggle
Yeah.
his fingers. Or just watch
Yeah.
the first like 5 to 10 minutes where you could get the insane Roddy Piper fucking dialogue, and then just skip to the last 10 minutes. Skip all
There
the
you go.
weird Jesus shit in the middle. All right, I hope you reconcile, but why?
Goodbye.